Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Tonight, we are playing a scenario entitled The Devil's Cave. It was written by Tyler Hudak, who is also our game master. This is episode 2. Our recap will be given by Sham Sabin as his character, Chad Lockhart. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Shams?
Earlier that evening, a series of tweets were posted by the user at ChadSciGuy99. The Miskatonic Expedition to Cueva de Villaluz, a thread. Finally, we have service again. Villaluz has certainly been an adventure so far, and it's only been one day. When we arrived in the village, we settled into our hotel, a bit rustic, but charming. Before we set off for the cave, we got a quick lay of the town. Attached is the selfie of Chad and the mayor. I spoke with some of the locals and found out a few things. Throughout the past several months, many tourists have disappeared in the area around Villaluz. It's a treacherous jungle after all, but it seems like some of the other residents say otherwise. Mayor Juarez himself believes that there is a curse upon Cueva de Villaluz. He claims that the devil himself lives there and does not like to be disturbed. Most of the citizens agree with him, though the sheriff adamantly believes sinkholes and wildlife to be the culprit. Attached is a photo of the front cover of the newspaper. After the events I've witnessed today, I would agree with the sheriff. The jungle is a dangerous place, and the cave itself is quite treacherous, superstitions aside. A fellow member of the team slipped and hit his head in there today. He will be fine, but it gave us a scare. The cave itself is quite beautiful in a gross way. Excited to analyze the samples we collected, but we need to go deeper. It's more than likely a new species of insect lives in the deep recesses of the cavern. Attached is the selfie of Chad in front of the cave. Once we packed up for the evening, the mayor treated us all to an excellent dinner on his ranch. His internet is fast and his hospitality is unmatched. But then the sheriff joined us. The sheriff is now demanding that we leave. I understand his concern for our safety, but we simply can't back down now. We're on the brink of changing cricket science as we know it, and with new safety precautions in place, there will be no further incidents on our expedition.
And that's where we pick back up. If you recall, when we left last time, or when we ended, the sheriff had kind of thrown that tirade and stormed off. As he storms off, and you all, if you recall, you're sitting on the kind of the back porch veranda. There's a nice covering over you, and with lights around and so on. And it's definitely past dusk now. It's nighttime at this point, or getting very, very dark. You can hear the sheriff as he storms off. You can hear his car up front, his SUV, start up, and he pulls away. Everybody, as you could probably expect, are silent, a little bit stunned. The mayor at this point, after maybe about 30 seconds of this stunned silence, starts to chuckle a little bit. He leans forward. He takes a flower out of the vase that is in the center of the table, and I believe it was Leo. You had gone and inspected the mayor's garden before. You immediately recognize these are flowers right out of his garden. They're very beautiful, and he kind of takes one out, smells it, puts it into his suit lapel, and says, "I apologize. The sheriff means well. He just gets a little hot-headed, and while I agree the cave is dangerous, I think it is a little bit of an overreaction to storm off as he did. So please accept on behalf of the town and on behalf of even Mexico, I apologize for his behavior."
He's just trying to keep everybody safe.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. But please continue eating. We have more food, and with that, Diana kind of strikes up the conversation again with the mayor, with Mr. Mayor Juarez, and the night continues on. As the conversation continues, does anybody want to ask anything specific, or just kind of finish out your meal?
You think the sheriff could actually call upon some serious forces to forcibly stop us, or you think he's just saying that?
Oh, I think he's just saying that. The cave, as you can imagine, is a great tourist attraction for us. And, to be honest with you, yes, there are people who disappear, but it's likely they're wandering off into places that they shouldn't. And as you can probably imagine, the forest or the jungle here is not safe. If you go too far off into it, even locals they get lost and disappear as well. So, because of that, it is a huge financial benefit for the town. And so he would have to pull some major strings to get it closed down. Could he do it? Maybe. Is it going to happen while you're here? Probably not.
I don't know about, I'm not a scientist, but isn't there something y'all can do to like get it declared a site for scientific research and so that tourists can't go in there?
But if we did that, then yeah, people would not come. And as like I said, the cave is a huge draw of tourism for tourists. You're kind of, I understand why you might not think it is, because you're the only ones in the hotel, but you've kind of hit us on an off week. Honestly, we had people here last week. I've talked to the hotel. They're booked up over the next couple of weeks, so it's definitely beneficial.
What if they were to put in something like, a little invasive, but not much. Maybe a fence so that they couldn't go far enough in that they would encounter the acid or the poisonous gases.
That's not a bad idea, actually. We'd have to do some studies, and he looks over at Diana and says, and perhaps your study or what you're doing here can maybe state the powers that be to show why we would need that. So I do ask that you carefully continue what you're doing, and let's see where it goes. But again, please be careful. I'm not trying to make light of how this is. It is a very dangerous place.
So you're telling me or telling us that the week we're here is just a slow week, that it's all booked up the week before, the week after just happens to be this week is slow?
It happens. It probably doesn't help that you all booked almost the entire second floor. So there wasn't a lot of room for large parties. We do get a lot of tourist buses come through. So that could also be the reason why.
Can I do like psychology or something?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Seems fishy to Justin. That is a 34 out of 50.
So he definitely, believes what he's saying. From what you can tell, he's telling the truth. He's a politician, so he's probably exaggerating it a little bit, but he does believe there is a. He's telling you the truth that the tourism and it being booked up and things like that is a big part of the town.
Okay.
Hey, Mayor Juarez. You talked about people going missing once in a while. Are there bodies ever found?
Usually not. No. The jungle is very unforgiving. There are wild animals out there. The jungle is thick. You can, while I don't invite you to do this, if you were to go 10 feet into the jungle, it would become very thick, and it'd be very easy to get yourself lost. And it's very easy to walk right next to somebody or an animal or something like that in the jungle and not know that they're there. And you did, when you were going to the cave, you did kind of see some of this where, you would, some of you would probably kind of peek your head off the trail, and it does get very, very thick, very quickly, very dark.
Chris, I got a question for you. Considering what we saw in there and the nature of that sort of, the gas, while we're wearing our rebreathers. If somebody went in there, how soon would they realize that something was wrong? And would they pass out before they could get out? Because there could be dead bodies back in there of people that thought, "Yeah, I'll just go see," and then they took a deep breath and dropped dead. And you say you don't find bodies, but you wouldn't find those bodies because you yourselves wouldn't go in there to look for them.
And don't forget the acid in the cave might destroy any bones or anything.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, that might take a while. You need something to decay the body. If most bacteria would be killed off by the...
I just mean the
that's
acid
that's a
itself.
Dr. Leo question.
Yeah, the fish would probably make a good meal out of, all the bits of scraps of flesh and whatnot. The bones maybe might take a little longer.
Assuming that he would fall into the water.
True.
Maybe there's carnivorous crickets
We
creeping
might-
about.
That's you do find those in caves.
Well, the air is acidic, so given enough time, it'd break down the bones.
I think that we should be prepared when we go in there to find something.
Agreed.
if
That's why I
it's
asked
dead
the mayor
animals.
if they found any bodies.
I'm
Well,
sure animals have run in there and gotten lost and just ended up running deeper into the cave.
Yeah, you remember that you're planning on going deeper in the cave than anybody has. The rooms that you've been in are about the extent as of what people have gone, because it gets very toxic after those points. So yes, it is very possible if somebody ran as fast as they could into the back. Yeah, they could probably get pretty far. But depending on the toxicity, if they passed out, they could, you can imagine that could happen.
Nobody could rescue them.
Right.
Mayor Juarez, if we were to find any indigenous remains of indigenous people, do you have a policy for how we would handle that?
Indigenous people, you mean the locals here, or those
Anyone.
who previously lived here ages ago?
Probably more related to our archaeological digs, but of course we don't want to upset any families who've lost
absolutely.
loved ones.
And at this point, Diana speaks up and she says, we do have contracts or agreements with the local government and the local universities that if we do find something like that or anything of archaeological significance, that we will turn it over to them. Obviously, Miskatonic University will also get a chance to study it, but it will be the property of the Mexican government and the local universities and things like that. The night wears on. It's a very the rest of the conversation is very pleasant. There's during the day it was easily in the 100s. It has probably cooled off to maybe upper 80s, lower 90s, but there is a very nice breeze that's kind of flowing. Once it hits about 10 o'clock or so, the Diana kind of looks at her watch and goes, "Oh, Mayor, you have been very gracious, a very gracious host. Thank you so much for having us over. I apologize. We do need to get back. We need to get some rest and get ready for our return to the cave tomorrow." And the mayor smiles like he has been all night. Stands up, thanks you all again, and starts to walk you out. Everybody, so he walks you out through the house. Everybody give me a spot hidden.
Oh, I got a 17 out of 60. So hard.
8 under 50, so extreme.
Oh, nice.
Regular success for me.
All right. And then Chad and Chris, you both failed, correct?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So Pete and Leo, and I'm sorry, Justin, you got a regular success. Okay. So Pete and Leo, as you're all kind of going through, the mayor is the last one to enter the house. Diana's kind of leading the way. Everybody kind of helps clear off the table so the mayor doesn't have to do it himself. As you're piling things into the kitchen, the mayor is kind of leading everybody out through his house. And recall his house, if you can imagine, it's one very large living room. Again, very expensive technology in there, air conditioning. There's a hallway that goes down, and then there's the kitchen right off of the main living room, which then leads to the back. As you're walking through the house, you've set down the dishes, are heading to the front door. All three of you, Justin, Leo, and Pete, you do notice that the mayor, as he is walking out, he kind of stops just ever so slightly. Yeah, you barely notice it, and it's almost like something caught his attention for a brief second. Pete and Leo, because you rolled so well, you noticed that his ears kind of perk up like he heard something, and it was like he heard something coming down the wall. And you can also see, or not the wall, sorry, the hallway, and you can also see how he tenses up, almost like he's maybe frightened for a second, or that's kind of the impression you got. But that's only for the briefest of seconds. He's able to recover himself, recompose himself very quickly, and then it leads you to the front door, and says, "Please, if you all need anything, feel free to come talk to me. Ask for it. I am here. I am your servant. Anything you need." And then as you start walking down the driveway, he closes the door, and you're walking back to the hotel.
Are there any lights on kind of that side of the house? Are those?
Yeah. There would be. So the front of the house is basically like a gravel driveway. Well, it's a gravel driveway up until the point where it gets to maybe about 30 yards or so from the house, and then it becomes a cement driveway. There are some lights up there, very bright to light everything. But once you get probably on the gravel itself, or a little bit beyond that on the driveway, you are engulfed in darkness. I'll say that Diana was smart enough to remind some of you to bring flashlights, because by the time you reach the road, I remember you all walked here. By the time you reach the road, it is very, very dark. You can hear the sounds of the jungle all around you. It is a very clear night. There's a full moon out, and you kind of.
Hey, everybody! Let's turn off our lights just for a second and look at the stars.
Sure.
As that happens, I'm like, Pete. Hey, Pete.
Yeah.
Did you catch that, Mayor? I mean,
yeah.
something-
You know what I was gonna say to you? Do you remember when we were in the Bird's Head Peninsula in Papua New Guinea?
Yeah.
There's a real sort of indigenous, I don't know if you'd call it primitive religious caste that sort of gets ingrained in people, even though they're trying to be modern and everything else. I wish we'd have brought an anthropologist along with us, because I'm thinking like the sheriff, he's afraid of that cave, but it could just be because, Mama told him when he was a kid, it was a dangerous place.
Yeah.
And everybody's mama told them all it was a dangerous place. And so it's sort of ingrained into there. But what if, there are cenotes here and there throughout this area. And the Maya used to throw sacrifices into them. I mean, what if people were doing that in this cave too, throwing sacrifices in there? And it becomes the devil's cave because they all converted to Christianity. But not quite, you know what I mean? Like voodoo, they retain the West African stuff, but they've also got the Catholic stuff mixed in with it. I don't know if that can be more dangerous than anything else, because religious fanatics can burn you at the stake because you don't believe what they believe.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know.
And you scientists, you've always been on the other side of that. They're always burning you scientists because you say something like God doesn't exist or the devil's just a myth.
Well, yeah, that's probably the case. I was going to bring up though, when I was out at the garden, I saw the mayor has a path into the jungle, and he seemed, I suppose, but he did seem concerned that there's something in the hallway, like in his house. Is it possible that maybe there's something in the jungle Maybe it's not even the cave. Maybe he just has some unsavory business that he doesn't want people going too far. He mentioned a few times that the jungle's quite dangerous. Do we want to just stick to the cave?
I mean, do we want to fake a pee and go look?
We've already left.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
a mayor in a Mexican tourist town be doing something shady? Surely you jest.
I think you remember we're all from the United States, aren't we? Yeah. I think he's trying to make an impression on us because you know what the first thing I thought of when we picked up the dishes? He doesn't have a little Mexican woman making his tortillas and doing all of this. I'm wondering if he doesn't want us to know that they still have slave labor. And he's just got himself a little slave village back here that does all the cooking and cleaning and shit. And maybe Maria was in the other room, was afraid that we were going to see. I don't know.
Maybe that's why they're grabbing tourists. Maybe that's where George is. He's cleaning up the bathroom once we leave.
I hate to sound like that, but
wow, I think this cave must have really spooked you guys. I mean, it's almost certainly just a path for drug deals, and he's getting his cut. I mean, yeah, I mean.
You bring up something really good. I mean, how long historically has the cave been here? Because if we find the cave's really something that only they discovered a couple of years ago, what if it's just a screen for a whole drug den that's going on inside there to keep people from finding out where the entrance is?
And these drug cartels are getting out goat hoofs and printing them around to scare people away from their cave.
I mean,
isn't there Nancy Drew?
It's kind of Scooby Doo, yeah. It's kind of, yeah. But who knows? I mean,
I agree that
it works.
It's suspicious that he has a house that big, and yet we saw nobody but him.
Why didn't you guys go down the bathroom if you were or down the hall to the bathroom?
I admit I'm not the one that really wants to get caught sneaking in the richest guy in town's house.
I'm still thinking that he's got to have servants somewhere.
And if it's truly empty, we can always go in when he's like in town or something, and then we'll have the run of the place.
Speaking of paths through the jungle, geologist, shouldn't there be multiple ways into that cave? I mean, other holes, other entrances here and there throughout that
for sure
area.
Yeah,
I mean, do we have any,
this kind of cave? There should be a lot.
I mean, they haven't even.
Do we have GPS?
Give me a look roll. We'll see that it's what.
91. No.
Okay. Yeah. No. I
expect it as part of our caving equipment. Well, maybe.
I don't know the advantage of this one. I'm just thinking that, the whole wandering in the jungle, it's dangerous. But if you go 100 feet in that direction in the jungle, as long as you know that you need to come back in this direction. And I get what he's saying, because I've walked into the woods in Massachusetts and tripped and fallen and got back up and suddenly realized I had no idea which direction that I came from, and it looked like the same thing in all directions. But if you can locate, if we have a compass and the compass says that's the way we came from, we're going to come back out on the road, find another entrance or something. Of course, you could find a sinkhole and fall into it.
But by this time, you've kind of walked the distance from the mayor's house to the town. You can see the lights of the town in front of you. Along the way, if you recall, you had passed the path that you had taken down to the cave. Chris, at one point, you suggested everybody kind of turn off the lights. When you do that, and once your eyes finally adjust to the dark, the sky is just brilliant with stars, more than all of you have. Well, maybe Pete and Justin on your trips around the world, you've seen similar sights, but the rest of you've never seen this many stars in the sky, mostly because there's very little light pollution in the surrounding probably 100 miles or so. But you get back to the hotel. Diana says that she's going to check on Mark, and anybody else is welcome to go check as well. But she does suggest that you all kind of get some sleep. She wants everybody up for breakfast at about 8 a.m. and then you'll head over to the cave around 9 to get an early start on the day, and then so you can get more time within the cave and see how far you guys can get.
I'll go check on the equipment, make sure everything is still safe and secure, put everything away.
You had
And then
kept
I'm
your
gonna go to bed.
equipment in your room, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But we also kept some in the vault, the
Right.
expensive cameras.
Okay. All right. So the receptionist that you had met earlier, Maria, she's at the front desk. You asked to check your equipment. She's more than happy to. She kind of leads you into a back room where there's this like huge gun-like safe. Opens it up for you. All of your stuff is in there. There's no. It looks all good.
Well, we're going to go out in the morning, so I'm going to take it with me.
Okay. The rest of you, what would you like to do? Again, by the time you get back, it's probably about 10:30 or so.
Check on Mark, make sure he's doing all right from that.
Okay. You glance in. Mark was asleep when you and whoever else and Diana checked on him. He kind of like groggily wakes, and the typical questions are asked: "How are you feeling? How are things going?" And he says that he's all right. He still has a little bit of a headache, but other than that, he's okay. He doesn't know if he's going to go in the morning. He may go with you to the cave, but he is probably not going to go in. And you can see that while his head has stopped bleeding, somebody looks at his wound and it still looks, it's a pretty good gash. And so it's probably not a bad idea for him to stay out of the cave itself.
Mark, you didn't notice anybody walking by or looking at the place, or were you asleep the whole time?
He said, I went to bed probably, maybe about 8 o'clock or so, right about the time it got dark. Okay. Well, I guess that would have been probably more like 9 o'clock. But he said, I went down and got dinner and, then came back to my room. So I really haven't seen anyone other than the locals around. In fact, I haven't even seen any of the staff come up here.
All right. Well, sleep off that concussion, Mark.
Like, thanks. And then he goes back to bed. What would the rest of you like to do, if anything?
I'm a 25-year-old grad student in Mexico. I'm going down to the bar for a drink.
Yep, same.
See if I can make some friends.
So unfortunately, you are the only ones in the bar. The bartender isn't even there. Maria comes over and asks you what you'd like. She says that we do close shortly, but she lets you all get a drink if you'd like. So
would you mind? I can. I'm a fairly good bartender.
She looks a little hesitant, but
you just tell me what to charge.
like, oh, you know what? There's nobody else here. Sure, go ahead.
What are you having, boys?
Just a beer.
Beer with tequila. Okay.
Just tequila for me.
Tequila with some beer.
I was just going to have a beer, but why don't you set me up with an interesting cocktail?
All right. You are going to get a mojito.
Perfect for this weather.
So Mark's not going to go, or
probably
it's kind of wimpy.
I don't know, with a wound like that, who knows what kind of cave bacteria could crawl up in there. And
I don't know. Justin, you remember when we were on Vesuvius in Italy taking pictures, and I lost my balance and I slid down the scree, almost like half down the mountain.
Yeah.
Just got back up and all the way holding the camera like this over my head to keep it from hitting the dirt.
I mean, you don't travel this way to, sit out.
I bumped my leg or my head.
Roll an ankle. Doesn't matter. You hear.
The acidic air in there would really hurt on a wound like that. I totally get it.
I mean, cover it up. Otherwise,
good point.
You're missing out.
Have somebody pee on it, like jellyfish.
I peed on Pete. Got stung by jellyfish. I peed on him.
We weren't going to talk about that. All right. Yeah.
Take a shot if you've never been peed on. That's what I thought.
And everybody roll sanity. So
passed.
yeah, the rest of the night passes. You're able to get some drinks. How late are you all staying up?
Just one drink since there's no company.
Okay.
I mean, Justin's probably up as late as Pete is. They probably carry each other later than intended.
Leo's up a little late because he did catch some interesting iguanas, I think, that scurried into the room. He's trying to get some samples.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a biology roll then.
Do they have fireflies?
A 39 is a regular success under 70.
I don't think they do actually have fireflies.
Fireflies in the jungle would look really cool. But
success. You're able to catch a couple iguanas, do whatever you want.
Science stuff.
Yeah, science stuff. They're not any unusual species or mutations or anything like that. It's all pretty typical of what you would expect. But again, they're probably species that you haven't actually seen or been able to handle before.
Great. Then mosquito net up for the night.
All right. Chad, and Chris, anything that you all want to do?
After we're leaving the bar, Chris and I, after everybody's had their drink, we're starting to leave the bunk down. I'm gonna just pull Chris aside and say, I don't know about you, but I really want to start looking at some of those rock samples we got.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a lot of tools here to look at things, but yeah, we can. I got my rock hammer. We can take a look.
You would definitely have field kits to do analysis and stuff. So yeah,
we can do simple stuff.
A little bit later, just get a head start.
Okay. What specifically are you looking at? Just the rock samples that you collected, or anything else?
Right now, the rock samples.
Okay, then both you give me geology rolls.
Regular pass, 21 under 30.
Okay.
Same for me. Regular pass.
So you start looking at the rocks. The rocks themselves are, at least from the rooms that you collected them from, are pretty typical of what you would expect to be in a cave here. They are very pitted and worn away, likely by the acid from the cave itself. You do notice that in some of these, you do see some of the snotites or the flenball mats, the sulfuric kind of slime in some of these, and it's you find it a little unusual because these have been pulled out. They've been sitting in this heat. You would have expected it probably to dry. It's not like a humid environment like the cave is. And they haven't. And in fact, they are very the small bits and pieces that you see within the rocks are very much still kind of in that state that they were within the cave, which you find a little bit unusual.
Yeah, I have a pretty good biology. Can I see if I can grab any more details?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and roll that.
I succeeded. Regular success.
So as you start looking at it, you pull it under the microscope or start doing tests on it. It is very, very acidic, like you would expect. It appears to be composed of some type of bacteria, but not a bacteria that you're familiar with. How much biology, I guess, work has Chris done?
I have a 50 in biology, but
so
I'm guessing it's mostly college, not much real life work.
That's a fair amount of education in that, I think. The bacteria that you are looking at, its kind of composition, you don't recognize it at all. That doesn't mean it's new to the science community. You just haven't seen it, and you've definitely looked at, you've definitely done microbiology and things like that before. So it actually surprises you a little bit, and you can actually see from your tests, the bacteria are the ones that are secreting the acid itself. That's where the acid is being generated from.
Interesting. Hey, Chad.
Yeah.
Chad, poke your head out the door and see if Leo's light is still on.
Sure. Hold on a second. I assume it still is because I probably hear him catching iguanas in there.
Yeah. You hear a little bit of something gets knocked over.
Hey, rap on his door and ask him to come take a look at this.
I'll scurry over and light knock on the door and go, Leo.
Yeah, 1 second. Get out, and then puts an iguana on the windowsill. Yeah. What's up? He's got a few scratches.
Chris and I, we were getting a head started looking at some of the samples, and you should come and see this. I think you'd really like it. Come on.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, you got some slime samples. Good.
Yeah, we've been looking at this slime, and the bacteria here are like nothing I've ever seen. And I think they're responsible for the acid. I was hoping maybe with your experience, you might have some better ideas.
The slime is still wet. It should have dried, but it's still like, look, it's like it was in the cave.
That is surprising. I wouldn't expect them to be consuming enough to keep creating it, but maybe for a bit. Yeah, as he kind of starts to do the research.
Yeah, go ahead and make a biology roll too.
11.
Ooh.
That is an extreme success.
Oh, okay.
I'm rolling hot tonight.
Yeah, get all those out of the way.
Get them out of the way.
So everything that I described before, you see as well. Chris has already kind of set those up for you. In addition to that, I'll say that you've done a fair bit of research in bacteria and things like that, and you haven't seen this either, which you find very surprising. To you, this means that it is possibly a new form of bacteria or a new species of bacteria. It's almost the term alien keeps coming into your mind just because it is so unusual from everything that you know.
I want, it's a selfish part of me wants to say that there's nothing interesting about this and claim credit for it later, but Chris and Chad, this is amazing. This is something new. Like, we knew the bacteria were possibly interesting, but no, this is nothing. Oh, just think how those crickets could be.
You go and you look again, just because this is so exciting, and I mean I'm giving you this because you rolled so well. You got an extreme success on this. As you're looking at this, you're kind of you're able with the microscopes that you have to kind of focus on very closely into the bacteria. The best way that you can describe it is these amorphous like blobs of bacteria, not single-celled bacteria. They're probably multiple cells, and you're kind of trying to focus on these little cells. When all of a sudden, you're almost positive you see one of these like cells within the bacteria open up, and this maw of jagged teeth show to you, and then immediately close. It's for the brief of seconds, but go ahead and make a sanity check.
No.
Just lose. Let's see here. Lose 1.
Oh, okay. He stands up right from the microscope. Whoa!
You don't know if it's the alcohol from before, the lizard that scratched you, or anything else. But
this is guys, this is getting late because I could have sworn I saw that thing trying to take a bite of something, and they don't make teeth that small.
You saw teeth?
Yeah,
like a chomper.
Are we sure it's bacteria and not some kind of animal?
I mean, he'll check the resolution on the microscope, be like, no, it's really that small.
I'm going to do a double take at the bacteria.
You look.
Do we have to wake up Dr. Boston or Professor Boston and tell her?
So this is a big deal, right? But we also really want to make sure that we're not super distracted, and that she's not super distracted when we've got, we're going to the cave first thing in the morning.
Right, but what if it dies overnight?
If you want to be the one to wake her up feel free. But
it's your call, Leo. Do you think this is a big enough deal?
He's kind of shaken from all this. No, tomorrow morning's fine. I think we're all we've stayed up too late. It's been a day.
You're right. Yeah. Makes sense.
So you all head to bed. Justin and Pete, eventually you all go to bed as well.
I'll take a little bit of time to just draw the cell structure that I can see.
Okay. Yeah, you all have analysis notebooks or probably laptops too that you can document in anything that you would need. So the night, again, if you recall how I described the hotel rooms, they're very stuffy. You do have an air conditioned unit, but it's really not doing anything other than blowing air. Again, it has cooled off a little bit. And your windows do have screens. So whoever wants to open up your windows, you can do so without many bugs getting in. But you all eventually go to sleep. Justin, give me a listen roll, please.
Okay. That's gonna be that's a fail.
Okay. The night passes, quite well for you. At one point, you kind of wake up in the middle of the night thinking you hear something, but you then fall back asleep almost immediately. Let's see here, Leo. Please also give me a listen roll.
50 on 50, dead on.
All right. So after you're not even sure how long you've been asleep, but you hear the phone in your room start to ring.
Get up and kind of wander over to it and pick it up.
You kind of wander, you're rubbing the sleep out of your eyes. You pick up the phone and you're immediately met with all this phone static. You have to imagine that anybody trying to call you, or if you were to make a call, it would be very difficult to hear. But you pick up the phone, hello, and there's no answer. Just static.
The guys are playing pranks on me. This is unbecoming of scientists. Probably the photographers. I'm going back to bed.
All right. You hang up the phone, turn around, get back to your bed. As soon as you kind of start to go back in your bed, the phone rings again.
Hilarious, Justin. Really, God, they can't handle their tequila. Go up, pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone. This time you hear the static, but you hear this coming from the static itself are these, you can almost hear this staticky buzzing voice. It's very, very difficult to hear.
He's really getting into the phone. It's like, what? Do they have star 69 here? He's gonna hang it up and you hang it up, start going back to your bed, and again, almost as soon as you hit your bed, the phone rings again. All right, that's it. He's getting out into the hallway. He's gonna go try the other guy's door to see which one of them has the phone off the hook.
I mean, are you knocking on all their doors, or are you just gonna go into the room?
If they're closed, knock. Come on.
So the one we'll say the one next to you would be Chad.
What? I assume
Chad,
that wakes me up.
Yeah. Chad, are you making prank call? Okay, no, you're asleep.
Dude,
somebody keeps prank calling my thing.
You're getting prank called? Just unplug the phone or something, man. Don't get me involved in this.
It's not funny. We have real research to do. Okay. But somebody it has to be one of us, because they were taking, it sounded like the stuff in the cave. Were you recording on your phone?
No. Once we put the masks on and got out the science stuff, my phone was off. It sounded like the recordings of the cave.
Yeah, like the buzz.
I think.
Here, come listen to it. Come listen to it. And is it still ringing kind of in the background?
No, it about the time you went to his room, it stopped ringing. But Chad, are you getting up and going to his room?
Yeah, I'll at least humor him to that point.
Okay, so you both go out, and Leo, you've got, or actually both of you, because since you were both be on the same side, you are both in the side of the hotel that overlooks the town, and the jungle beyond, everything like that. Both of you give me spot hidden rolls.
We're gonna look out the window and see somebody in a phone booth losing their mind.
An 8 under 45, I believe that is an extreme.
I'm glad you got it. 71 over 50.
All right, so Leo, you're just kind of focused on the phone. You keep picking it up and listening, and all you hear is static. And then you put it back down, and you pick it up again, just to, hello, and there's nothing there. Chad, you're exhausted, kind of getting a little sick of this, wondering, if Leo had too much to drink. He's maybe hallucinating. He's seeing things when absentmindedly you glance out, and again, it's a very clear night. It is. It's a full moon, and the moon now, you can see it from his room. It's kind of like cascading over the jungle. It's actually, you can imagine that Justin or Pete would love to take a picture of this. But as you're looking at the moon, you see what looks like two shapes kind of like fly in front of it. You can't make out what the shapes are. You don't know if they're birds or bats or what, but after a second of you trying to process this, you realize that whatever they are very, very large. You see that because you rolled so well, you can kind of make out not details but shapes, and it almost looks like these two things are flying with wings on the back of their bodies across the jungle, and they pass in front of the moon and then disappear into the darkness once they leave it. But give me a sanity check, please.
An 02.
All right, so you don't lose any then.
Okay, I'm gonna blink for a second and then go, Leo, what's the largest flying species they'd have around here? Remind me again.
Oh, that's probably some form of bat, and he'll list off the full name of it. Did you see one? They're really cool, aren't they? They kind of go like that.
Question, GM. The jungle that we can see when looking out this window, is that the same general direction as the mayor's house and the cave?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty wide vista, but yes, it would be the same general direction.
I think I'm just delirious from waking up from REM sleep or something, but I saw a couple shapes flying in front of the moon and going into the jungle. They look to be, if those were bats, those are the biggest bats I would have ever seen in my life.
Chad, at this point, I wonder if there's just something in the food that we ate that is not agreeing with us, because this is the weirdest. Like maybe something from that garden got a little funky, and we're all tripping a little bit right now. I don't know. But
I mean, weren't you saying
nothing
something
that big
about like some kind of like something spooking the mayor and in the hallway, but there wasn't anything in the hallway? This is. I think we just haven't gotten enough sleep. We had too much to drink, and I'm thinking bats are a lot bigger than they should be.
Right.
So I'm
Vampires
gonna go to bed.
Right.
If your phone rings again, bother Chris instead.
All right. Thanks, Chad. I'll unplug it though, just to be sure.
You unplug the phone. The rest of the night passes without incident. Before everybody knows it, whatever alarms you set go off, and by about you get ready, and then by about 8 o'clock, you're down kind of in the bar / cafe area. They have some breakfasts of fresh fruit, more like continental breakfast, fresh fruit, kind of store-bought muffins or mass-produced muffins and coffee. Plus, I guess whatever else anybody would like within reason. Nothing, no hot breakfast or anything like that. Diana's down there. Mark is as well. He is, he looks like you would expect. But once Diana sees everyone, she asks if I hope everybody had a good night. We've got a lot of work to do, so please eat your breakfast and then we will head out.
Hey, Diana, we found something when we were looking at samples last night.
Oh,
Leo was looking at the slime, and he thinks it's pretty incredible.
Oh, really? What about it?
It's difficult to describe. He'll go through kind of the research of what he saw. And it might have like spines or teeth or something. It just appeared very briefly. It might be a trick of the light, but I remember seeing something strange on it.
She looks a little incredulous when you say that. You sure you just, yeah, I mean, I really, I mean, I'm not a biologist like you, but I have to imagine that that's not, something that you would see. Sure, you like cleaned the microscope and the
I'm sure it was nothing, right? I'm sure it was nothing. It's probably from lack of sleep due to pranks, Justin and Pete.
But the more interesting thing, Diana, is we think the bacteria are responsible for the acid in the cave for breaking down the limestone.
We've long suspected that. So if you can prove that, that would be a great paper to write. And she kind of hints that if you do that, that's probably a fast track to tenure or professorship at Miskatonic or probably anywhere else.
Hey, Leo,
Something to think about, Leo. Let's co-author.
Leo, what were you using to look at the stuff?
One of these points out the microscope.
You might have seen it's kind of an odd refraction effect. We sometimes see it in photography. You saw maybe your own reflection in the surface, your own teeth, your own mouth. If the surface was curved, that could have been what you saw.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
Because would something like that have a mouth or a...
It's too
you're
small.
talking really small.
Right.
And what do you mean pranks?
I was getting calls at night. Somebody had recorded the insect sounds. You're not making fun of me?
Slept like a baby.
I don't know. I don't call anybody. I text exclusively.
He does.
All right. Well, I don't know. It's not that funny. Maybe it was Chris.
I had some weird dreams, but that's all.
The iguana is getting to you?
No.
Once I put my head down, I slept the night. I'm sorry, I didn't call you.
All right. Yeah. Maybe it was Mark in a fit of concussed behavior.
What if it's just a glitch in their primitive backwards phone system?
I mean, that would be the most disappointing because that probably means whatever's in the cave is just some mechanical repeater recording.
That's probably what it is. I mean, in all likelihood, it's just some natural thing like that where it's echoing weirdly and people are making a big deal out of it.
Have you?
Sounded organic to me.
I'm sure you guys have heard. I don't know if they're true or not about people like picking up radio signals in their teeth.
What?
Yeah. Sometimes I think I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if it's ever been verified, but some people have metal fillings and they end up vibrating because of radio signals, and they can actually hear radio stations playing in their teeth inside their head.
That would drive me crazy.
It's usually why they go to the doctor to see what the hell's going on. But I think Lucille Ball was one of them who claimed that she could hear something like that going on inside of her head. So maybe it's some weird effect then.
Who's Lucille Ball?
Lucy, I Love Lucy, Lucille Ball. Jesus.
Yeah, my grandmother talked about that.
It's that old black and white show that's never been off TV.
By this time, but
maybe the cave's calling you.
Diana has kind of started to rouse you all. Say, all right, this is a great conversation, but we need to head over to the cave.
I clap Mark on the shoulder and say, I know you want to be with us, but it's good you're taking care of yourself.
Look, Leo, we've got a macro lens. If you want to take some pictures, maybe tonight when we're
that sounds great.
At the stuff,
it'll keep. We'll get a new sample today to make sure we're not,
we brought it in case you found bugs or something. You said something about finding bugs. You want to get close-ups of bugs. You need a macro lens.
Are you sitting this one out, Mark?
He says, I'll go with you to the cave. I'm not going to go in the cave. I'll kind of sit and babysit the equipment. But other than that, I don't think, tomorrow I probably will. But I think I need to sit out another day. So I'll have a little bit of a headache. My cut is still throbbing a little bit. And you saw him. He kind of downed a couple ibuprofen while you were sitting there during breakfast. So and every once in a while, the corner of your eye, you can see he's kind of wincing in pain a little bit.
Well, don't let the jaguars bite.
he smiles and laughs.
We'll try to save our greatest discoveries for tomorrow.
Sounds good.
I hope we can see some more detail if we see that track again, so that you or Leo or somebody else can figure out what it is.
I'm bringing some of the more low temperature lights. They should cast a better shadow and give us more detail when we take pictures.
Okay. So as you gather all your equipment, everybody heads over to the cave, much like I described before. The cave, the stream to the cave, as you're traveling, along the path, it goes from, mostly clear, it gets to that milkier white. As you get closer to the cave, you can definitely start smelling the sulfuric acid, the kind of the sulfur in the air. You almost wonder if maybe you knew what to smell for, or something, because you almost think that you can smell it sooner than you did yesterday, but it's hard to tell with something like this. And you eventually get to the cave, suit up, and then start to enter in. So to describe it again, the entrance to the cave is pretty, it's a mostly circular room. There is a room to the south and a room kind of southwest, and then a room to the northwest, if you imagine that you're walking in on the east side of the cave. The rooms that you went in yesterday or the day before were, you basically followed the stream, where you followed the stream into the kind of on the northern route of the rooms to the next room, and in that next room, that's where the stream had split up, or more appropriately had come together from two different branches and started to go out. So which way would you like to go? Again, Diana is kind of letting you all lead the way. Mark is kind of sitting outside. He kind of found a shady rock to sit on under some trees, and he has a laptop with him. He's kind of taking notes, going through things.
I'm going to
pass. Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to tell Mark, keep an eye out for the sheriff, because he threatened to come and bother us.
Good point. As you remember, in town there was the sheriff's office. When you got back last night, and again this morning, his SUV was not there.
The water to the west was going through a tunnel, right? The west exit.
Yeah, so in the second room, the water went through basically two different areas, or kind of the streams kind of came together from two different areas. One was another room, almost like a long tunnel to the west, and then almost directly south, the other branch came from, and that was the very tight, almost tunnel where you would have to be walking through the water in order to get through it.
Yeah, we don't want to go that way.
Yeah, the branch area, that is where you saw the footprint as well.
Are we hearing the buzzing?
Yes, almost as soon as you enter into the cave, you hear the buzzing.
If you ask me, I think we should check out that long tunnel, try and go as deep as we can.
Yeah, let's keep going forward, but not go into the stream if we can help it.
Okay. So that would be following the stream itself. You start to go down that. And again, Diana's following along with you. She's taking notes. Every once in a while, she stops to, look at something or study something closer. Just like before, there are the snotites that are hanging off the walls. They're hanging from the stalactites. This is going to the west, not to the south. So you're kind of following it to the west. There are phlegm ball mats all over the floors, and in fact, the stream itself, it kind of goes in parallel along the tunnel that you're kind of going across. And when I say tunnel, it's not as wide as the room you were in. It's probably only about 20 feet wide. The very tight tunnel was the one that was going south. This tunnel is a bit wider. You still have to be careful of your footing, and it kind of opens up after about 50 feet into another room. This is a much smaller room, and the stream itself kind of hugs the wall within the room, and then turns south to a tunnel that's heading to the south. However, this room itself, you just by walking into it, first off, looking at your gauges, you are definitely in toxic levels of the air. The air would not be breathable here. Or if you took off your kind of masks or your kind of respirators, rebreathers, you might have maybe a minute or so before, if that, before you would be in a lot of trouble. When you walk into this room, you can visibly see that this room is almost covered in the slime, in the snotites. You have to be extremely careful in here as you walk, because the floor is covered in the slime as well. In fact, as you are all going through, you are most of you at one point in time kind of slip and have to catch yourself. It's almost like you're walking on ice in some cases.
Getting some of these samples as we're going. If this is a more toxic area, it's possible the bacteria are stronger here, if that makes sense.
I don't think we should spend too much time here, though. Now that we're in a toxic area, every minute counts, and I think we should just try and keep going deeper.
Yeah, everybody recheck your rebreather just to be safe. And I'm going to take just a quick couple of rock samples too.
Okay.
Is there any sign of the marks by the stream? I know that was in the other room, but might we have any here?
You don't see any, although you do all hear the buzzing, and the buzzing definitely sounds louder in this room, although it does not sound like you have found the origin of it yet.
I think all the while I'm taking pictures, and Pete and I have worked together, with like wild animals. We have hand signals, that we've developed for, I need this lens, and, stuff like that, or hand me, the other camera. So we're in the back of the line, kind of doing our thing.
So just, I guess kind of a, question on your equipment. Your cameras, how are you kind of holding them? Do they have like straps that you have around your necks? Are they on tripods? Yeah. How would they be?
Well, Pete keeps reminding me to put the strap around my neck.
Okay.
Justin just has the one that he's using, and I have the other ones. I have lenses in a backpack. I've got tripods and things if he needs them, and I've got lights that have batteries that that we can use.
Okay.
I was going to say that as we're going in here, because of what I said last night, I'm kind of looking around in the corners and things to see if I see skeletons of dead animals.
You don't see any animals, and in fact, the stream itself it's opaque at this point in the cave. You cannot see, and before it, in kind of the beginning of the cave, it was still pretty white, but it was at least maybe like the first inch or two into the water was more translucent. This is almost completely white. If there are any fish or anything like that at this point in the cave, you're not seeing them. You don't see any bones or anything like that, other than everything on the ground. Everything is basically covered in slime, and that the stuff that's not covered in slime, you basically see rocks. Although Pete, as you're kind of looking around, every once in a while, like you have been this whole time, you're reminding Justin to, hold on to the camera, all this because you're worried about the equipment. At one point, you see one of the snottites kind of drip down and land on one of the cloth strap for one of the cameras, and you can visibly see how the snotite that drip starts to smoke it. It starts to smoke where it hit and visibly eat through it.
Is it me or is it on Justin?
We'll say Justin.
Okay. I immediately see that and I'm like, fuck, Justin. And I pull out a cloth of some sort and I'm like, hold still. I try scraping it off.
Take your camera off. You scrape it off. More smearing it off, and as you pull it away, you can kind of see where where you kind of scraped it off or smeared it off on the cloth. It doesn't like burn away, but you can definitely see where it has affected the integrity of it. And you look at the cloth and the cloth where it got on it, it has basically been eaten away. From what you can tell, the acid being produced by the slime in this room is much stronger than the other rooms.
Boys, the acid in here is much stronger. It's eating right into this, the strap on this camera. If that drips on your head, I think we should get the fuck out of here, Justin.
Everybody check each other. Make sure, if something drops on you, that your partner takes care of it.
While we're down here, make sure you've always got someone like within arm's length of you, because we don't want anybody else ending up like Mark. Don't go wandering off alone. Someone's close, you could slip, maybe they could catch you. If acid drops on you, they could warn you. But I'm immediately worried about maybe this acid would be enough that, what if it drips right on the worst part of an oxygen tank?
What if it drops on your skin?
Yeah. Did we take Mark's example and grab some hats on the way out?
I would think that would be reasonable. Oh, you mean like the hard? Yeah. You all definitely would have that. I think.
What do you think, Professor Boston? Do we continue on?
She says, I think so. If we can, let's at least follow my vote is to follow the stream and see where that goes. You all have been in here. You've at least been in here at least an hour. It's really hard to tell how far you've gone into the cave, but it's been a good at least 200 to 300 feet, if not more. Remember it's very slow going as you go. But she says that she votes to kind of go keep going.
I agree.
I'm gonna try something just because I might do it instinctively. I'm gonna hunker down. I don't want to lose the strap entirely.
Okay.
I'm going to see if I can dilute it with the water in the stream.
Okay. You're putting the strap into
the spot where the stuff got on it, and I've wiped it off. I'm just going to try to dip it into the water.
Do I see him doing that? Because I know that you're all white water probably means it's more acidic than it was before, right?
Yeah, that's a yeah.
You don't. That water's not safe, Pete.
And
I mean, I might have already done it.
All right, so give me a luck roll. We'll see if he stops you in time.
46. Yeah, that's a luck pass.
Right as you're about to do that, he kind of stops you, and you stop, and you only get like maybe at the tiniest bit into the water, but as you pull it out, you can kind of start seeing these like little wisps of smoke and on the little threads that hit the water. So then it's not something where if you stick your hand in, it's your hand's just going to melt away or anything like that. But it is, excuse me, the extra slime in here is definitely making this part of the stream much more acidic.
Right. So I will then pull out one of my bottles of water and try to dilute it with that.
And that does seem to that does seem effective.
This place has gotten a lot more toxic.
Yeah. Be careful.
And
watch out for each other.
Diana goes, yeah, I agree. So we probably have a good another hour left in the oxygen tanks. Let's at least check out the next room, and then maybe we'll head back.
So we only have an hour left, and we've been in here.
It's hard to tell. Maybe an hour and a half. You're all on probably about 2/3 oxygen. Based on the rebreather.
Okay. You got to keep in mind, you got to keep just as much to get back.
Right.
There's only one exit out of here. Is that right?
That you know of, yes. That has ever been found.
All right. Yeah, follow it.
All right. You start going down the stream, and again, the tunnel at this point has kind of started curving south. As you start walking down this tunnel, you can notice that the snotites and the phlegm ball mats, as you start going down this tunnel, start to lessen. The tunnel goes a good 50 feet south. Everybody, actually, I won't even make you do that. As you start traveling, as you're traveling down this, you can hear the buzzing getting louder. And it kind of comes to its highest point where you get to a kind of a bend in the tunnel, and the stream continues south into another room, kind of south of where you're at. But to your west, there's another room in there. The buzzing is, if you had to guess, this is this might be where its origin is. It is just completely. It's the loudest it's ever been. But you're all kind of standing outside this room, shining your flashlight in it. Unusually, you don't see any of the slime in there in that room. So the room itself is like maybe it's like a circular room, like maybe 20 feet in diameter.
I wondered if it would be kind of localized.
While we're here, we should check the room out.
Let me place some lights around the perimeter and get some pictures.
Okay. So you start. Is everybody going into it?
I am.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the first thing that you see when you go in, think of this as like almost like a kind of roughly circular room that feels more like a rocky outcropping. Again, there's no slime in this room. The noise in here, the buzzing, is extremely loud. However, the kind of the northern part of the wall, which is kind of like curved, it's very unusual, and it takes you all aback because it's not just curved, but it is completely smooth as well. And as you look at it, you can see it almost looks like there are symbols or some type of letters carved into this smooth part of the cave.
We set up some cross lights so that
we
can the indigenous people did get here.
So you've
never seen such a smooth wall.
Okay. You're getting pictures of it. You're looking at this. Everybody, if you have guess anthropology or history, something like that, go ahead and make that roll. If you don't have that, go ahead and make an EDU roll at with a penalty die.
With a penalty die, it's still a 56 under 70.
Oh, wow. Okay.
With the penalty die, it's 51 under 70.
Nice.
I got 26 under 80.
Nice.
So
I failed.
Under 70. Oh no.
All right. So for those who passed, you're definitely seeing these as symbols, just kind of across this whole area, and this whole area is probably a good 10 feet wide. You do not recognize these at all. It does not remind you of anything that would be in this area, like Aztec or Mayan or anything like that, or even North American natives, Native Americans.
They're not
Does not give you any idea of what this could be. It's completely new.
Justin and I have been all over the world. I don't know what that is.
Additionally, those of you who are looking at this, the buzzing is the loudest when you're right next to this, and it almost feels like it's coming from the other side of this wall.
I'm going to approach the wall and just, I'm kind of mystified by these symbols, right? So I'm just going to reach my hand out and then just like touch the wall.
I imagine I'm up close taking pictures. Is there any kind of interference as I'm, or anything I would notice?
No, I mean, if you're just using like regular lenses or with you're not really seeing anything unusual.
The symbols too, do they look like they've been scratched in, carved in? Are they perfectly formed?
Somebody used a very precise tool. If you had to guess, somebody used a very precise tool to either carve or etch these in, because you kind of run your fingers along them and you can feel the definite outlines of them. The rock again itself is almost pure black. It reminds you a little bit of basalt or some type of very, very dark, almost volcanic rock.
Can I nail it down more than that?
How are you going to do that?
Geology?
Right, but how are you going to do that?
Oh, right. I guess I can't. Just take a sample.
Okay, go ahead and give me a geology roll. The rest of you, give me spot hidden rolls.
I passed.
So you go to kind of chip some off, and your chisel and hammer or whatever you would use to try to get some of that rock off does not even scratch this rock. You're not even you're hitting it as hard as you first you start gently, and then you start hitting it harder and harder and harder. Nothing is causing this to scratch.
The salt is hard, but it's not this hard.
Correct.
No. Look at this. Look at how perfectly formed all these letters and things are. This is modern. This can't be old.
But what kind of tool could have made that? My chisel is
maybe it
hardened.
was cast. What do you have a Mohs test?
Oh.
Do a Mohs test. See how hard it is. I think this is our drug den. This is our mayor's secret drug den.
You can absolutely do that test. Did anybody pass their spot hidden?
Yeah, I got a hard success.
Hard.
Okay, and Chad?
Complete failure.
All right. So Chad and Leo, you both failed. You're just you're looking all over the place, trying to figure this out. Pete and Justin, you notice that as you're kind of looking around, you notice that the same footprint that you saw before, you're actually seeing it all over this room. Not only that, please, both of you, and actually I'm sure you would probably point this out, everybody give me sanity checks, because you actually see one footprint halfway in the wall, like it's on the ground, and it's half of the footprint is in the wall, almost like the wall had been moved or disappeared and something had stepped out. For those of you who pass, you go ahead and lose 1. For those of you who fail, lose D2 insanity.
The wall moves. I'm sure it moves. I don't know how to move it, but
see a switch somewhere.
This is like James Bond shit.
I mean, that print is halfway in the wall.
That's crazy.
Is there like a handle? Maybe
I don't know.
You grab like a symbol and pull? Like
it might
rotates?
be only openable from the inside or with a remote control or something.
How much time do we have left on our rebreathers?
You have you're not quite at half. You're a little bit north of half. So if you were going to leave exactly at the halfway point, you probably have another 10-15 minutes before you need to do that.
Yeah, let's search and see if we can find how this thing opens. But also, I mean, so the buzzing is on the other side of it.
Yeah,
from what you can
Kind of
tell.
scary.
Drug manufacturing plant.
Oh yeah, totally a drugged in.
If we don't see any switch or anything, I think we should just move on. We might find another entrance that somehow loops around to the other side of this.
Plus, if it's a drug den, do we really want to find it? Or do you think we'll end up like old George?
I think Chris might have accidentally told him we're here by knocking on the damn thing with his hammer.
Just to clarify as well, the buzzing that you're hearing it does not sound mechanical. It's very loud in here. It does not sound like a mechanical buzzing, almost like you would expect, like an electrical buzzing or something like that. It does not sound like that at all. It sounds very biological, for lack of a better term.
Chris, what did you get on the Mohs scale?
Chris, so I'm going to assume that the kit you would have all the way up to if I'm remembering my high school science correctly, the Mohs scale goes up to 10, and that's like diamonds and things like that.
Right.
You would have something like that to scratch or to test it. That doesn't even affect it at all. In fact, it almost scratches the diamond or whatever you would have to test that at that level.
This material is amazing. It's so smooth and so hard. It's beyond anything that I've ever seen or that my equipment can identify.
It's harder than diamonds? That's crazy.
That's impossible.
Well,
all the more reason
we're in an amazing place, clearly. But I would guess that means it's not poured.
How do you manufacture something that's harder than diamond?
I don't know, but Leo, I think you're going to have to write the paper on the slime yourself. I've got my own.
Yeah, you're welcome to it. This place is kind of freaking me out, but there's definitely, they have something back there, like that noise. Like it's not a machine.
I'm going to say a word. You can all laugh at me, but aliens?
The samples of the bacteria we saw in the slime looked a little alien in nature, from what I could tell, in all honesty.
And I know of no way any human being on Earth, any manufacturing plant could make this.
I mean, it's astounding. It's a material harder than anything ever seen, and yet there's carvings on it that resemble no human culture.
This is ET phone home shit.
I mean, how do you make contact with an alien, though? Do you do you need to play the little doo-doo-doo-doo tune?
Chris, how deep are we underground? This could have been here for 1 million years.
Yeah, it could. I mean, it's impossible to know. This is such a weird situation to find a hard stone like this in the middle of a limestone cave.
What's up with the no slime in here?
We're going to be rich. What if that slime is an alien that escaped from this?
So, Leo, you said it doesn't sound mechanical to you. It sounds like organic. You mean like a bunch of cicadas, cave cicadas? Or, I mean, this is really loud.
Yeah, why don't we this might be like a call response. We could always try recording it and then playing it back. If this is a communication, hearing them speak is distracting to it. Obviously, we can't say the English words in it, but
all the while I'm making sure we have enough light and I'm looking for anything that might trigger this wall to move in some way.
Yeah,
I'm crawling all over the wall looking at it to see if there's any piece I could pull off.
Look at the footprints and see if there's like more of them over by that funny lever-shaped rock, or if there's,
you don't see any. You're all kind of looking around the room, looking for levers, looking, pressing the different symbols to see if they, if anything happens, but nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, we wasted so much time. We got to keep going.
I think we should buy the village.
Well, I mean, I could probably buy most of it.
This is a great discovery. We have to share it with the world. I mean, if we can figure out how this came about and we can replicate it, there are so many uses that could help so many people. It's a great discovery. Do any of you guys recognize what these letters are? I don't have a clue. It's not my thing.
I'd say the closest that it comes to is something like Sanskrit, but it's definitely not Sanskrit.
You got a good photograph of it, Justin, so we can share it with some people back in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
All right.
Honestly, that alone is probably going to be a whole nother sub. Wow, this is just.
Here's a paper for you, Chad.
What if it says "to serve man"?
Wow, that's just.
I don't get it.
Oh, Twilight Zone episode where they had the book that they deciphered. It was a cookbook.
Right. Okay. Comic.
Do we think the mayor is in on it? That's too much. That's too much. Do you think I'm going to say it. It's too much. Does the mayor?
I don't see how anybody could have gotten to this thing.
Maybe he's cleaning up after them. Anybody that finds out about it.
I mean, when we're thinking about aliens, I mean, I know this sounds a little crazy, and I told Leo about this, but last night, I was looking outside and I thought they were bats, but the more I think about them, they were too big. If those are bats, those are the biggest bats anyone's ever seen. I probably just had, I was just woken up out of sleep, but
Chad, that's really interesting, but we don't have time to talk about this kind of thing right now, about your nighttime adventures.
That's a good point.
I'm interested in this wall and what we're going to do about it.
Can we go on? Is there any other place to go?
We don't have time to go on.
It
stream
does
keeps going.
Yeah, the stream does go south from here. It looked like it would enter into another room.
Okay, how much time do we got left? Where
again, probably about 5 minutes or so north of halfway. Some of you might just be on that halfway mark. And remember, halfway means if you followed the same pace that you did to get out.
Right. We were really slow coming in.
Right. Exactly. You've been taking your time, being very careful and so on.
We could probably walk out of here in 5 minutes. So
we have to be super careful on our way out and not fall and hurt ourselves like Mark, or even worse. We're going to be
the most famous people on earth.
So we can't tell anybody about this till we write up our research.
Before we head up for the day, I think we should still follow the stream while we still can.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, let's poke our heads in the next room, I guess.
Okay. So you leave this room again, almost immediately as you exit the room. The buzzing goes down in volume. So that definitely appears to be where the origin of the buzzing is. Following the path. Or it's not path. I'm sorry. Following the stream south, it actually doesn't go too much farther south from here. It opens up into another room, and then the stream kind of curves off into another room to the west. But you can see that you can see a couple things. First off, it starts to pool in that room, at least from the kind of the entranceway to that room, you get the impression that that room is probably possibly the source of the stream. It's very it's probably filled with water. You can also see at the other side of the room to where that you kind of walk into. So just to kind of better describe this, and I'll send over a map of this later on. So because I know I'm not good at describing these things, but you follow the stream to the south. The stream kind of curves off into its pool, its source, and that room where it starts to curve off. You see the stream from the source area kind of branch off again and follow the south part of this room towards the east, and you suspect that is where it goes to that very small tunnel that you saw from the beginning. Another thing, and the slime, the snotites, the phlegm mats, all that those are definitely in this room as well, reappearing. It's very toxic in this room according to your gauges. One thing you do notice though, and imagine you all are kind of standing at the entrance to this the room. You can't quite see into the area where the source of the stream is, but you can see this green luminescence coming from that area, coming from where the water is kind of pooling and collecting.
Bioluminescence.
I think we found the source of the cave.
I'll set up cameras to get pictures of it. We're going to have to use some fast film and we don't have film.
Well, I was just going to ask, do you only have photographic
Digital
cameras, or do you also have video cameras?
Yeah, I mean, digital for sure.
So your cameras can probably take video. It's just that you don't have like dedicated ones.
Our phones can take video.
Yeah. Oh yeah, your phones.
Yeah,
but our cameras are actually for high macro or high megapixel,
high resolution.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're all kind of standing at the entrance to the southern room. You going farther, heading back at this point? What are you all going to do?
I'm really interested in the pool.
Okay.
As a geologist.
We got to get a sample. Yeah.
I'm getting close enough to get good pictures out of it. So.
Okay. So you walk farther into the room and to see more and more of this. In fact, all of you give me dexterity checks, because you actually have to go over the stream in order to kind of go farther.
Real close. 44 out of 50. So.
Okay.
35 under 45.
All right. So for those of you who make it, you're very easily able to jump over the stream. Those who failed, you make it over the stream, although your feet slip either on the slime or part of it gives way, and your feet go into the stream a little bit. You don't take any damage, but you can kind of feel that the bottom of your boots, you can kind of feel, how rubber feels when it melts, it gets a little bit slippery for a minute or so. That's how it feels. Going into the room, the like I mentioned, the streams are definitely originating from this room to the west. You get a good view of this, and even without your flashlights, you can see that there is this bioluminescence, this green bioluminescence coming from this like pond, or I don't want to call it a lake because it's not that big. It's probably an area of water in a room, probably about maybe 30 feet in circumference. So it's more than a pond, not quite a lake. So you imagine that type area. Again, it is green bioluminescence, and it is just covered in this slime. And the green luminescence appears to be coming from the slime itself. Additionally, while the pond is, or the source of the water is covered in the slime, in the center, it almost looks like there is a ball of this slime just kind of floating there. You can definitely make out the like semi or dome of some kind of like floating ball within there.
Getting a lot of good pictures of that.
Yeah.
Grab a slime sample.
Pete, can I borrow one of those tripods? Do you think we can reach out to, like, with a little test tube on the tripod? Do you think we can reach out and take a scoop of that?
It's too far to reach the center. I mean, it's a good 15 feet out into the middle of it. You can definitely get some of the slime or on the pond itself, but not to that unless somebody wants to quick do a quick swim.
Chad, how many selfie sticks did you bring?
I've just got one selfie stick, unfortunately.
Do we have
any
string or rope?
Give me a luck roll. If you pass, I'll say that you have probably like the equivalent of like caving rope.
90.
Okay, no. So nothing.
I was going to say you could string it, get on either side of it with a rope and dip it into the middle.
Let's turn off the lights and see what it looks like in here. Just
remember,
from bioluminescence.
We can't be here very long. We're about to run out of air before we need to leave.
It'll still be here tomorrow.
You turning off your lights?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay. So you turn off the lights and the entire area is just flooded in this, the green. It kind of bounces off the walls, especially in that room, and kind of bleeds out into the room that you're in. Everybody give me a sanity check though, because as you're all looking around, as you're looking at this floating blob in the middle of the room, you all see an eye open up in it and then shut. Then you see another eye open up and shut. And then you see another, and there may be the size of a fist. And then you see another orifice open up and you see this maw of teeth, and then it shuts. Those of you who passed lose 1d3. Those of you who failed, or I'm sorry, those of you who passed 1d2. Those of you who failed a d4.
This is the part where we start running.
What the fuck is that, Leo?
What is
are those eyes?
Lights on.
Lights on. Backing away.
Turn the lights on. As you do, let's see here. Everybody give me a luck roll and tell me who rolls the worst.
62.
60, yeah.
79.
I'm 9 below my luck.
Okay. Leo or Chad, did you roll?
I got 69, but that doesn't beat 79.
So you all flip on the lights, turn on your lights. Justin, you as you do this, you kind of flip on your lights and you kind of look around because you realize you haven't heard from Diana in a minute or so. You see her standing behind you. Her face is beet red. Her eyes are bloodshot, and it almost looks like she's choking, although she cannot, say anything. It's almost like the silent choke. And as you see her do this, she falls to the ground.
Oh shit!
Check the rebreather.
Yep.
You check the rebreather. Whoever's doing it, give me a mechanical repair roll.
I mean, I saw her fall, so maybe I'm the first one there.
I'll be right.
I'll say if you're going to check it, just if you're going to check it, there are others there. If somebody's going to help him, you can use advantage.
Have a little bit of
bonus die. Sorry.
Okay.
Wrong system.
Have a little bit of
I've
mechanical
repair too.
That is with a bonus die. I've got a 26 out of 30.
So you start you kind of look at her rebreather really fast. You're not super familiar with the engineering here. You can definitely tell though it looks like it has been damaged somehow.
She must have run into a wall or something. She's damaged it.
We need to move.
Yeah, maybe a drip.
The wall room might be safer. Leo's just keeping an eye on this slime pit. Is it still eyeballing at us?
Every once in a while, you do see another one pop up. It's random where it happens, when it happens, but and it's kind of slowed down. It's almost like the light that from your flashlights is what's stimulating it.
Get her out. And Pete, what's the best thing we have for low light?
There are two ways out of this room. There's the kind of the tunnel to the east or to the north where you came. You have not been through the east yet.
We ought to go out the way we came at this
The way
point.
we came.
I'm going to do my best to hoist her onto my shoulder.
Okay.
Are these rebreathers something that we can share? Or are they like full?
You would have to take it off and then.
I'll take mine off so she can get some air
and put it on her, and then you're going to have to hold your breath.
I'm going to put myself in that rotation as well to make it so there's a little bit more air going around.
So you Chris, you take off. Give me a Constitution roll.
I failed.
All right, so
can I use luck?
Yeah, you can actually, or you can push the roll. Luck. You can also push the roll if you prefer.
No, I was only 2 above my con.
Okay, so you pull it off immediately. Your eyes begin to water as the air, this acidic air, kind of hits it, and they begin to water. It's very difficult to see, but you you're able to keep it together enough. You start moving. Pete, you said you're going to you grab her and you're going to start going the way that you came.
Right. And I yell back, I say, Justin, you're going to have to grab the equipment.
Yeah, I grab the equipment, but if I can use my photography skill, I want to try to get a picture with enough light to get the eyes,
there's no reason to think that.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead and give me a photography roll for that. Let's see if you do. Pete, give me a dexterity check.
62 out of 70 is a success on photography.
Okay, so you think you got it. You think you got it.
74 out of 50. So
Pete, you go to get over the stream in order to cross it to go back the way you came. It's just too much weight. You get partially through. You kind of trip. Your bottom half goes into the stream. Fortunately, Diana kind of tumbles to the ground. She has Chris's rebreather on her, but you give me another dexterity check to see how fast you can get out of that stream.
That one's a 37 out of 50, so regular.
Okay, so you only take you can feel the water start to seep into your clothes that you have into your boots, and your skin begins to tingle and burn, and you take a point of damage from that before you're able to get out. Everybody else is able to get across the stream. Chris, you're having difficulty. We'll say that Pete, are you picking her up again?
Yeah.
Okay.
How far? Just my feet went in, or did you say my whole half went?
It went, up to your waist.
So I've got it in my pants and everything else.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
After a little bit, I take my rebreather back so that I can get a breath.
If the burning starts to get stronger, I'm going to have to ask somebody else to grab a hold of her, and I'm going to take my pants off and pour the rest of my water all over me.
Okay.
To get the acid off.
Well, you get about halfway up that tunnel to the north, past the room with the buzzing, and it's about then where you can feel definite burning, and so you feel like you have to do that. Chris, you're able to take the mask, take a couple good breaths. Are you going to keep it and somebody else going to put it on Diana, or are you going to give it back to her?
I'll put it back on her, and then I'll grab her. I'm a pretty strong guy, so
okay. All right, Pete, you can do that. You can take off your pants and start pouring water all over you if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I'm pretty far behind.
I have no modesty, so I mean I'm covered in acid. So
yeah, Justin, you're definitely trailing behind as you get the equipment. You try to get that. So assume you're at least one room behind everybody else.
Okay.
Leo and Chad, what are you both doing as this is going on?
Yeah, whoever is giving the rebreather, Leo's just helping them because they can't see without that. Just onions burning their eyes. They need.
Oh, that's a good
point
there. Maybe somebody else could give her rebreather while I'm carrying her?
I'll be the guide dog. Keep going, Leo bravely suggests.
So you're telling Chris that
I'll keep my rebreather on and I'll keep my eyes open.
Okay.
Leo, how strong are you?
Not.
Yeah, so I'll put my rebreather back on. And
Is she conscious?
No, she's unconscious, and her rebreather is probably working, but in maybe like 10% capacity. So she's still going to be getting toxic fumes, although it's going to be filtering out a little bit.
Chad or Chris, are you able to carry her?
No,
I can carry her. I'm pretty strong.
Both of you could together. You could probably do like a fireman carry or something like that and carry her. I mean, she's not, she's a pretty petite woman.
Yeah,
I'll help out on a fireman's carry. Sure.
Okay.
The shorter half because I am easily the shortest person here.
Okay. So you pick her up, start heading. Pete, you're kind of pouring water all over yourself. Are you all going to wait for Pete, or are you just going to keep going?
I assume Justin's going to catch up to me now.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. If
I'm trying to get her out of here as quick as I can.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to assume. Tell me if it goes otherwise. Chris, Chad, and Leo, you are trying to get her out as fast as possible. Justin, you're lagging behind. Pete, you've kind of poured all the water. It's definitely feeling better. Your legs are almost look like a minor sunburn.
Right.
They're kind of pretty red. Justin, you catch up to Pete sitting there pantsless in the tunnel, pouring water all over himself.
Reminds me of that time in Nanjing.
Where's your pants, man?
I fell in the river. I got acid all over me. I pretty much got it off, but I can carry some of that shit now because they've got the girl.
It's all right. You worry about your
all right
stuff, and I'll worry about this.
Seen before.
I mean, true.
All right. So I'm going to pull I can't really pull my pants back. I'll pull my underwear back on if I rinse them out, but I'll leave my fucking pants.
All right. So you two eventually start heading on.
I take a picture of the discarded pants just because.
The other three, you kind of get into that room that kind of curves around. This was the one with the really acidic slime. Kind of start curving to the east, following the path. Leo and Chris, you're the two who are carrying her, right? Or is it Chad and Chris?
I think it was myself and Chris.
Yeah, okay,
I believe
so Chad and Chris. Which one of you? What are both of your dexterity?
My dex
is
45.
50 dex.
Okay, so Chris, you said 45.
Chris has 50. Chad has 45.
Okay, Chad, make a dexterity check.
Okay. That is a 31.
All right, so you kind of make it out into you're getting closer to the entrance. You make it to the room where the stream kind of combines from the two into the one. You both have to make it across that stream, and you're able to make it across just barely. It's very slippery in here. The rock, it feels like every other step is giving out from under you. I imagined as you kind of jump over or move over the stream, Leo is helping out just to kind of speed things along. Eventually you do make it to the entrance of the cave, out into the fresh air. Pete and Justin, you will come out about a minute later, but the three of you get out of the cave.
Yeah, rip off her rebreather so she gets some good air.
Yeah, Mark, get the first aid kit.
Mark's not there. You look over to where you left him. His laptop is there. It looks like it has been shattered on the ground.
Signs of a struggle.
That would be a good indication, yes.
Shit, I warned him about the jaguars.
maybe just running to get the first aid kit though is there. I'm assuming we left some supplies.
Yeah, there's the first aid kit is still there. You go over, Chris, you had said you were pulling off Diana's rebreather into the fresh air. All of you, as you do that, you kind of, even though there's still that sulfuric smell in the area, you breathe the fresh air. It's, again, it's very hot, but, compared to the cave, but, it's kind of refreshing. Leo, you grab the first aid kit. You can kind of take it over to her. Go ahead and make a first aid roll. By this, as you're doing that, Pete and Justin, you exit the cave and kind of see the same thing that I described.
49 over 40.
You can push it or spend luck if you'd like, or
I'll spend the luck. Yeah, I'll spend the luck. Yeah.
While he's doing that, I'm rinsing my eyes with water and everything I can.
Okay. I'm standing around and just kind of like watching the surrounding jungle.
Okay. Chad, give me a spot hidden. Leo, you start applying first aid to Diana. Her breathing when you start is very ragged. She's got burn marks on her face, from the acidic air that she was exposed to. And Chris, you've got that a little bit as well. It looks like more Chris than Diana, because Chris, you had actually taken it off. It looks like you have a really bad sunburn on your face. By the time you're done, Leo, Diana is very seems to be breathing a little bit regularly. She's still having trouble, but she seems to at least been stabilized, although she is still unconscious. Chad, did you make your spot hidden?
I did not, but I'm going to spend 16 points of luck to make it a success.
All right. You are looking around, kind of glancing around. You said you were looking in the jungle, things like that. You notice two things. The first is that right around the rock where Mark was sitting when you left, you find some fresh blood. Second, you see what looks like maybe some drag marks into the jungle, but it disappears after maybe a couple feet into the jungle when it becomes very thick. Pete and Justin, what are you both doing? Anything once you exit the cave?
I'm thinking about running all the way back to the hotel, but I want to make sure everybody's okay. Where's Mark?
Yeah, about that. He's not here. His laptop's shattered, and check this out. I see fresh blood right here, and this looks like drag marks going into the jungle. I think Mark was abducted or by probably a person, maybe a jaguar. I don't know.
The sheriff?
Yeah, I mean,
sheriff said he was going to stop us.
Wow, could this day get worse?
You think the sheriff knows about the alien capsule?
Pete and Justin, give me spot hidden rolls as well. As Chad is showing you all of this. Leo and Chris, you're both still kind of in the midst of the first aid, and
I got 61 out of 60. I'll spend 1 point of luck to at least make it pass.
I got a 98.
You can always push it, or spend a lot of luck. It won't. I'm sure it won't come back to haunt you. I'm sure.
I'm gonna push it.
Okay.
Let's see.
So if you fail, I don't know, honestly.
I didn't fail.
Okay, so you passed your
yeah, I got 18 this time around.
Well, good, because and Pete, you said you made it.
Yeah, I used luck to make it.
Great. Both of you, please give me sanity checks, because as Leo is kind of showing you all this, right about the place where you see the tracks that Leo points out, you see two of those cloven footprints that you saw in the cave. If you've passed, nothing. If you failed, just lose one.
I passed by 3.
There's more of those tracks. Yeah. Outside the cave now.
You see more of the tracks?
Yeah. Right where Mark got.
Oh,
I'm
shit,
calling
I didn't
aliens.
even see those.
I mean, it's either aliens or this sheriff is just really, really working hard here.
Either way,
what if the
I don't
sheriff
think-
is an alien in a skin suit?
No, let's be reasonable here. One way or another, I think this expedition is functionally over. I don't think we're going to go back in that cave. I think we've got plenty.
Oh, if there's aliens in that cave, I want to go in that cave and get pictures of aliens.
Yeah,
I got to
before
check
we-
out that rock. Come on, Chad. Where's your scientific interest?
Well, for
We
one,
gotta-
we need to know. I mean, we might have a man. Might have 2 deaths here right on our hands right now. I mean, Diane's looking pretty bad.
yeah, she's gonna have to get to the hospital. Her lungs are burned probably on the
Yeah,
inside.
let's get her to the hospital, and then we'll tell the sheriff about Mark, and he'll find him, just like he found all the other missing people.
I
Shit.
don't know if he's not in on it. I think we need to. For one thing, Justin, we need to upload these photos to our site.
The mayor's place has great internet.
I mean,
That's
I
true.
feel like they'd want us to continue on for them, you know.
I don't want to go in that jungle, but I feel terrible just walking away.
Look, we got to walk away right now. We have to get Diana to help. To Dr.
Look,
Boston. Pardon me.
If you go in a little ways, and we go in a little ways, and we make a string so that we're not out of contact with one another, we can go in quite a ways, can't we?
I mean, Pete and I have done jungles. I mean, we know at least a little bit of how to do this safely.
We could mark
Okay.
a tree, say
Yeah.
this is the direction to get back to where we started.
I feel like this is terrible to suggest, but if we want to try and look for Mark, I think we're going to have to split up for the others to get her to care.
Yeah, I mean, somebody needs to get the professor back for sure. But I mean,
To
Well-
kind of emphasize that point, Diana starts coughing, kind of pretty hard. And
Yeah, I'm
want-
taking her. I'm
settles
taking her.
back.
Guys. You can do what you want, but I'm
Yeah.
taking her back right now.
Okay, I want to establish right now that I'm courageous and brave and everything else, and I'd love to go into the jungle with you. But I got fucking acid all over me, and I need to get to the shower. So I'll pick her up
Pants.
and take her back to the. I don't even have pants. I'll take her back to the hotel.
It's a brave man that walks through the jungle pantless.
Well, I mean, I could do it, but I'm burned.
No, we
Justin
gotta go
and-
with you. We can't go in right now. It's
But
irresponsible.
he could be right in there.
I'm going to take a peek. I'm going to go just
I'm going to go with you. I'll be
10
a few paces
so-
behind.
Here,
15 feet
So-
max.
So you
Here.
both
mark a tree so that you know how to get back.
you take the Crocodile Dundee knife.
Slash a tree.
Yeah, start both Chad and Justin, you start going in, you start following the tracks. You only get about 5 feet into the jungle, and you can kind of see the drag marks of what you imagine was whatever pulling Mark, and you see those kind of cloven footprints going alongside. And then you see where it looks like the dragging stopped, maybe only 5 feet into the jungle, maybe a little bit more. And then there's nothing. There's no other footprints. There's no other drag marks. It's like they went there and then they disappeared.
And
How you
there's no
feeling,
like
Amanda?
no opening in the ground they could have gone in.
No, nothing.
All right. Listen. I mean, to disappear, they either went under or they like climbed up a tree.
Or they flew.
I mean, sure, man.
Listen, I hate to say it, but there is something not right here. And I mean, I saw some stuff. I thought I saw stuff flying around, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't think of another explanation.
I'll look up.
You look up, the trees are, they're not super thick right then. You can see there are holes to see the sky through the canvas of the leaves above you, but you don't see anything. Actually, you know what? I'll let you go give me a spot hidden.
I mean, that's an 05, which
Okay.
is that's an extreme success.
So you look up And again, like I said, you can see these openings of branches and things like that through the canvas of the tree above you. As you're looking at that, you can see just high in the trees. You can just barely make this out. It looks like something is hanging from a branch. And after staring at it for a second or two, you realize that it's the same cloth, it's a like jeans material that you recognize that Mark was wearing. It's like something had lifted him up, and his pants got ripped on the branch, and this branch is a good 50 or 60 feet above you.
Well,
and that's where we're going to end it for tonight.
That's denim, Chad.
Oh shit!
Tree denim. Our players included Sham Saban, Steve Anderson, Kent Blue, Nathan Decker, and myself, with Tyler Hudak as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.